Hello, Mark Red Larson here from the Dream Catcher Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Alvaro,
Right.
and I'm going to let you say your name from Spain. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thanks, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So you were just explaining to me about your surnames. So how does that work where you're at?
Well, I'm from Spain. I live in Barcelona. And what I was mentioning is that we have two surnames in Spain.
Uh huh.
So my first name is Alvaro and then Gutierrez Gomez, if I pronounce it properly. And what most people don't know is that we do have two surnames. My first surname is my dad's first surname, and my second surname is actually my mom's first
So cool.
surname. When they get married and they have kids, that's what we have. We adopt their first
I had no
surnames as
idea.
our own.
That is so awesome. I had no idea that had gone on. So,
I
so
had no
okay.
idea people had only one, actually.
Yeah, really, that's cool. It's
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
how
no.
different parts of the world you never know on how. So, are you from? So, are you born and raised in Spain?
I was born and raised in Barcelona. That's right. Yes, and that's where I live nowadays.
Okay. So, what got you to today? I mean, what's been your journey to what you're doing today, and uh, just everything? Just kind of give us some background.
Okay, let me see. You can interrupt me at any time if you want to know a little bit
Okay.
more, or if I talk
Okay.
too much. I'm gonna try and
Oh,
keep
no.
it nice and sweet.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
great.
long story short, I was born and raised in Barcelona. And in 1998, I left to the UK. I lived in
Okay.
a small city in England called Coventry.
Okay.
I also lived for a small period of time in London.
Mm.
So I was there for 17 years
Uh
before I
huh.
came back to Barcelona some almost 9 years ago. And that's where I am now. I'm a dad of two, got twins, boy and girl,
Cool.
very difficult kids, but
Oh,
I
is
love them to
that?
bits.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
know,
That's awesome.
they just like all parents, they are
Yeah,
my reason. They are everything to me, and that's what I
I
do.
can see that.
Everything I
Yeah,
do in my life is for them.
I can.
And
I can definitely understand that, and that's
that's
the way
a
it
very
should be
long.
too. Yes. Yeah. So okay. So what took you to England?
Okay, funny story here. So, what? Not so funny, maybe. I used to have a girlfriend here in Spain.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking about I was a young man. I was 22. Well, before
Okay.
22. My girlfriend at that time decided to go to England because she wanted to learn English.
Okay.
So she thought, okay, I'm gonna go to England. After 5 months, I guess I was missing her. She was missing me. She managed to get me a job where she used to work in a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
in the south of
Mm-hmm.
England. So in 2022, I decided to join her,
Okay.
and they gave me a job as a dishwasher, just washing
Oh, really?
dishes in the
Okay.
restaurant.
Okay.
But you know what? I was very happy there. I was working
Cool.
there for
Very
five or
good.
6 months. I didn't speak a word of English.
Oh, wow.
In fact, funny story for you here. The first day I arrived, that was a pub in the UK. That was in the south of England, really nice place.
Okay.
Apparently, the boss, this was a couple, told me to start working the following day.
Uh-huh.
Now I arrived to the pub directly from the airport, and
Okay.
they were giving me accommodation in a
Okay.
house.
That's good.
So the house,
Sure.
they had the staff house where I could live,
Mm-hmm.
which was really cool because
Uh-huh.
everything I was going to earn going to be for me. But what happened? The following day, I stayed in my new room. I was listening music, and then my now ex-girlfriend back in the day came back to me and said, "What are you doing here? You should be working." I said, "What do you mean?" "Yeah, they told you to start today." Obviously, they told me, but this is like if you go to Japan and they
Right.
tell you, Mark, I'm assuming you don't speak Japanese.
Nope, I don't.
So imagine, Mark, you go to Japan, you go to Tokyo, and the boss tells you, "Mark, you start tomorrow," and you smile.
Yeah, exactly. Not knowing
That's, I
what they
guess, what I
said. Yeah.
did.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was so worried. So the bosses were so nice. They were
That's
amazing. They
good.
were laughing. They were saying, don't worry about it."
That's very good.
Um, so I was there for 5 months. I moved to London for a month. really didn't have any money. I had to try and find a job,
Mm-hmm.
picking up the phone call, but it's very hard back in the day without the internet, just phone calls
Right. Right.
from a public phone,
Yeah.
putting a
Exactly.
coin, calling
Yep.
for
Yep.
job interviews. People were hanging up on me because I couldn't speak.
Yeah. That'd have made it really tough.
So that was kind of tough. And
Yeah.
one thing led me to another, and I ended up in Coventry, this small city, very
Okay.
industrial city, and I ended up working in a factory for 5 years.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And then,
Okay.
yeah. So that was kind of the very beginning of my story in the UK.
Wow. So did you like England?
You see, when I was there, I was very opinionated about them.
Okay.
And they've
Okay.
got a very good sense of humor in the UK. I think
Do
I
they?
adopted
Okay.
their sense of humor.
Awesome.
And I used to very, very critical about them. But now that I'm back in Spain, I reckon I really enjoy my time there. I really like the country. They've got a beautiful countryside.
Okay.
English people were very welcoming. They always treated me
Okay.
very well. I felt very welcome. In fact, I
Nice.
was better treated in the UK for 17 years that I was here for the first year in Spain when I came back.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So,
So,
from my point
wow.
of view, it's a very good country to live in. Yes, the weather is not perfect because it's raining pretty much all the
Yeah.
time, all the day, all the time.
Yep.
But I think it's a really good, great country.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like any other place in the world, there are good things, bad things.
Yep.
But
Very true.
as I mentioned off camera with you know, Spain have a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
nonsense, and in the
Yep.
UK, if you know where to look, if you know the law, if you know things about how the system works, you can actually make it work for you,
Okay.
and you can pretty much have a good life.
That's very good to know. I love the perspective of the two countries there. That's
Yeah,
very awesome. So what brought you back to Spain?
kids.
As kids? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we used to live right in the middle of three schools.
Okay.
Um, Myself and my now ex-wife, we used to think, do we really need or do we really want our kids to grow up here?
Mm-hmm.
So, especially my wife, she really likes Spain. She's from Belgium
Okay.
originally. So she or we decided to come back to Spain when my kids were 2 years old. I've got twins, a boy and a girl, which obviously I love.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought back in the day that it would be a better place to be for them because our family is in Spain and Belgium, and we felt the need for them to grow with their grandparents.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
was um the main reason to be with family.
Okay.
Because in the UK we didn't really have any family,
Yeah, I can see
and
that
also,
too.
I mean, if anybody's from the UK listening to this podcast, I'm sorry to say this, but the kids in the schools where we live were not very nice. I mean,
Oh, really?
so we didn't
That's too
think we
bad.
wanted to put our kids in that school. Um, and that's why we moved to Spain. I feel um, kids are nicer here.
Okay.
I'm
That's
sorry if you
interesting
are from
too.
the UK, you're watching this or hearing this,
Okay.
but
Okay.
that's the honest truth. But I love England. I actually like it better than Spain. That's
Okay.
my thought process nowadays.
Interesting.
And I love the sense of humor. As I said, I
Mm-hmm.
feel
Mm-hmm.
I feel part of me is actually British as well.
Well, I can understand that, especially living as long as you did there.
Yeah.
So okay, when you came back to Spain, what did you start doing? I mean, as a profession.
Well, at the time, I let me go back in time. So at the time, I was running an e-commerce business,
Okay.
because it's everything done online. It allows you to actually live anywhere with internet connection.
Right.
So at the time, my income was enough to, to for my wife not having to work, so she could stay
Right.
at home with the kids. Also, we were able to get the kids, maybe a big mistake, but we were able to put the kids in a British school here in
Okay.
Barcelona, which is not cheap. So at the time, the finances were okay. I was doing okay, but I was
Right.
able to work anywhere in the world as long as I had internet connection. So
Right.
that allowed me to, or that allow us to come back to Spain and carry on that. I was doing some affiliate marketing as well, so that was
Okay.
bringing another income on the side, but it wasn't too big. It was just pretty
Hmm.
much pocket money in comparison to
Okay.
what I was doing with e-commerce. But yeah, that was the great thing about internet, that it gives you the freedom to choose where you want to
True.
work.
True. Very
That's
true.
what I did. We had the
Okay.
freedom to move on because we didn't have to be tied to a particular job.
Which is good. So, okay,
Yeah.
your e-commerce. How did you decide to do that particular business? I mean, what brought you to that decision?
Another quick funny story for you.
Okay,
Okay.
I like them.
When my kids were probably a few months old,
Okay.
we decided to buy a chimney cover. You
Okay.
guys call it chimney in the US?
Yeah, we
Uh,
do.
yep.
Yep.
Just to protect them, because in our house we had a chimney, so we obviously, to protect the kids coming close to the fire, we
Right.
need something
Right.
to protect it.
Right.
And what I did is I went to Amazon and I bought one of these,
Okay.
but I made a mistake. I made an error. There is an option on Amazon where you can click
Uh huh.
and you don't have to input any card details. It's already um, recorded. It's already um,
Right.
there. So I clicked the first time and nothing happened. So I clicked it another time. I was
Right.
wondering. So the next day I received two of them.
Oh, did
I
you?
actually
Oh,
ordered
okay.
two by
Oh,
mistake.
each time you were. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in my, I could have returned it, but I didn't even think about that, about returning it. So I thought, well, what am I doing with this now? I mean, I think I paid, how much did I pay? For £17, which is around $22.
Okay.
So I thought, what am I going to do? I thought, why don't I sell it on eBay?
Mm-hmm.
So I
There you
thought, okay,
go.
I'm going to list it on eBay. So I took some pictures, I put it on eBay, and I put it at a higher price so I could recover my cost
Right.
from Amazon,
Exactly. Your
not
investment. Yes.
expecting anything at all out
Uh
of it.
huh.
So funny enough, 2 days later, I get a notification. You've sold an item. Wow, I've sold that.
Yeah. Uh huh.
So when I send the item, what I pay for it plus the shipping cost, I actually earn about £1, which is about
Oh, okay.
$1.30.
Well, better than losing money. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the light bulb went up.
Uh
I
huh.
thought, hold on a second. I've just made $1.30 or a pound
Uh huh.
selling one product. I thought, how about if I could do that with more products?
Right.
So at the time, I was working for a big company in the UK doing customer support,
Okay.
and hopefully they don't listen to this podcast because I was kind of working in the office doing my second job, my
Oh,
second
yeah.
business. But anyway, what happened is that first month, I started listing products from Amazon
Okay.
and sending them on eBay. What nowadays people call drop shipping.
Right. Right. Yes.
So when I was getting an order from eBay, I was sending it directly to the customer. So the first month, I made myself £800, which is
Oh,
about
wow.
$1,100.
Very
So that
good.
was almost the same income I was earning in my job, and that
Wow.
was part time.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I decided to increase that. And then I come across a course like a few months later. There was a guy that started an online course teaching people how to do that. So I came
Okay.
across that and I thought, hold on a second, this guy is teaching what I already taught myself.
Right. Right.
So I joined that program and I learned a lot that I
Hmm.
didn't know was possible. But actually, let me go back. I didn't do that straight away. I made money doing this with Amazon, but I stopped doing it for a year
Okay.
because what I was doing is I was taking the top sellers on Amazon, only the top sellers, and selling
Right.
them on eBay.
Right.
I thought nothing else was going to sell from Amazon. But a year later, I came across this course, and the guy was doing like millions a year on turnover.
Oh, wow.
So I learned how to do it properly. I learned pretty well. So I ended up quitting my job and doing that full time pretty much. So I was drop shipping full time. Eventually,
Wow.
I did some other stuff
Uh-huh.
selling on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, did you?
I
Okay.
sold I sold on Amazon as well. I had my own
Okay.
shop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I created my own little shop. Um, so I did a little bit of everything, and I also for a period of time I used I mean this is now in Barcelona.
Okay.
So I used to advertise on Facebook Marketplace, and I used to have a guy, one of my best friends, delivering products to people's
Okay.
houses.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And we used to buy some stuff that was very cheap in normal shops, and we used
Right.
to sell them on the Facebook Marketplace. So that was something that I
Yeah.
did for around 9 years.
Okay.
And but then I stopped 2 years ago because things were getting really difficult, um, to the point where it was actually affecting my health.
Oh, wow. So it really
Um,
was.
See, even though I was doing very well financially speaking, I was working 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day.
Ooh, long
I
days.
was
Okay.
waking up thinking about business. I was going to sleep thinking about that because I was
Uh,
doing everything myself,
right.
outsourcing products, customer service.
Oh, wow.
And you get to the point where you get scammers, people trying to
I'm sure.
put false claims with eBay. And
Yep.
I was selling high price products. I'm talking about a sofa for
Oh,
800,
wow.
$900.
Oh, okay.
And when people open a claim about that, you are responsible to return it. And even if they are lying, you are made.
Still have to. Yep.
So it became very frustrating because when they do that, they hold your money. Then
Yep. I
PayPal,
bet.
that will be opening the Pandora box here. PayPal, in one occasion, froze my account with £12,000, about $15,000
Wow.
for 6 months for no reason
Oh, for
whatsoever.
6 months. That's a long
Yeah,
time, too.
no
Wow.
reason whatsoever.
Oh, my gosh. I mean,
Actually, one reason, which is crazy. I spoke to them and they said, "Oh no, your funds are gonna be locked for 6 months." I said, "Why? What did I do?" You look at my feedback on eBay at the time. If you look at my own shop,
right.
my feedback was 100%. No
Wow.
complaints. I always
Perfect.
gave outstanding customer service, treating people
Right.
well, resolve problems. And you know what was? I almost
Mm-mm.
doubled my turnover in 1 month. So 1 month I was doing, I think it was like $25,000, sorry, pounds,
Okay.
which is about
Right.
$30,000.
Right.
And the following month, I almost doubled to around $50,000 in turnover.
Wow.
So what PayPal said to me was that that raised a red flag in their systems because I almost doubled my turnover, which is unusual in business.
Mhm.
So they decided to investigate if something was wrong.
Okay.
And it's like, so you're gonna keep my money for 6 months when I have no complaints? I upload tracking information.
Yep.
But yet they decided they are obviously they have a big monopoly.
Yeah.
You can't
They've got
fight
it.
against them.
No, you
So
can't.
that caused me a lot of problem. One thing ended up to basically again to cut a long story short, I ended up on the street for one day with my kids
Oh,
and my wife
wow. Oh,
out
my
of my
gosh.
house at the time
I mean, that
because
had to
of the
be.
financial problems that gave me.
Oh, wow. I mean, that had to be. I mean, what were you? I mean, going from being so successful to being on the street, even just for one day. I mean, what?
I,
I mean, how did you come back from that?
well, I was a little bit of a fool to be honest because I had all my funds or pretty much all my funds on PayPal. I used to have
Okay.
just what is needed for the day-to-day life, to buy
Sure.
groceries,
Right. Right. Right.
to pay for school kids, kids' school. But I had all my eggs in one basket on PayPal.
Uh,
So when the froze account, I found myself in a position where, um, if I remember well, because I'm talking about this is 2016, probably, I can't remember.
okay.
But I found myself in a situation where money flow was a real issue. It
Yeah.
came to the point where rental uh, um, my rental contract was ending,
Okay.
and they didn't want to renew, so we had to leave the house. Now the problem was I got myself in a situation where PayPal was holding my money.
Mm-hmm.
We had just about enough to be able to rent in another place.
Okay.
But it's coming back to Spain. In order to rent in another place, they ask you for a lot of information. You need to have a paycheck, a pay slip. I don't know if you guys call it like that in the US, a
Yeah,
pay
I
slip.
know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Obviously, being self-employed, working for yourself, I didn't
You're
have
not going to have
anything to
that.
show
Yeah.
for.
Right.
And whatever I could show, it was not accepted. So we ended up putting a bid on a house to be able to rent, and they were making me wait. And it's like, hold on a second, they're gonna kick me out. I need to leave this property
Right.
on
Right.
that date.
Wow.
So I was waiting for the from the only place that was prepared to accept my non-pay slip, because I was able to provide bank statements showing that
Oh, sure. That you
there
had
is
income.
money. Now we
Yeah.
can pay
Right.
the rent. There's not a
Right.
problem.
Right.
So at the end, they came back to us and they say, no, the owners of the house don't want to rent it to you. And it turns out apparently it's
Wow.
because we had kids. So
Maybe.
it's like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. You don't
It
want a
is.
family to move into your house when you know a family normally is going to keep your house well, it's going to look after it.
True. Exactly.
Good people.
Right.
So it got to the day where I had to leave the house. We left the house and we were moving stuff to Valencia, which is like 200 miles, 250 miles away from Barcelona, to another house where my wife's dad used to live. He used to
Okay.
live with
Okay.
us, but then he moved there. And
Okay.
we had to move all our stuff to his house.
Wow.
Um, and then we didn't have the time to actually move everything. So we end up with boxes and cases in our house. And we had to leave.
Mm.
And we ended up outside the house looking at the house for the last time. And we had 6, 7 cases. What do we do now?
Yeah.
No money to buy
Exactly.
groceries, no place to go. Two things happened. My brother saved me at the end.
Awesome.
He
Very good.
took stuff. We ended up living with with my parents in a 55 square meter flat. I had to come with
Oh
my
wow, that would have
wife
been cozy then.
and my
Okay.
2 kids. Yeah, I mean, we had to
Mm-hmm.
sleep for a year in the couch,
Uh-huh.
and my kids had to sleep what used to be my room as a teenager. So
Okay.
it's uh, going back to when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And then, how did I recover from this? For every negativity always comes a seed of equal or greater opportunity.
Yep. Amen. Yes.
Couple of things. A friend of mine in the UK knew about the situation and he offered to help me. So he lent me £3,000, which is about
Okay.
$4,000, to get back up into eBay. Because what I
Okay.
didn't say before is that all these problems meant that I lost my eBay account that was bringing most of the income.
Oh wow,
So
you
not
really,
only
oh my
my money
gosh.
was held in the PayPal account for 6 months, I lost my account because I wasn't able to pay the fees. So it's like
Oh.
a snowball effect.
Oh yeah, you were to catch 22. You had, I mean, talk about you had, oh my gosh.
So he lent me the
Wow.
money to be able to pay the fees I owed to eBay. I paid my fees and I was able to start back up again. The great thing about being in this situation is that I was forced to go to the library to use the internet because my
Okay.
parents, we didn't have internet.
Right, right.
And I discovered that it was an incredibly peaceful place to work. So I became more
Yeah, true.
productive because there was no noise,
Right.
everything was quiet, and they had very good internet connection as well. So I used to go there like at 10 o'clock in the morning till they closed, till 8 o'clock in the
Mm-hmm.
evening, and stay
Right.
all day there. I used to take a sandwich with me.
There you go. Yeah.
I used to go with my Mac, work, work,
Yep.
work, work,
Yep.
and I rebuilt my empire, so to speak.
Wow. I mean, that's from feast to famine to feast. I mean, that's so inspirational because that just shows that because people when they're trying to catch their dreams, things is going to be it's just going to continue literally. You're going to keep getting better and better. And you and I both know that, especially after you just what you told me, that is not the case.
No,
Um, but you probably, I mean, you would probably still tell somebody to go and catch your dreams, even if going through that. I
Definitely
mean,
go for it.
so yeah.
Everything
I
is worth.
mean,
I mean, it's worth it. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I look back, I know how much I suffered. I know how tough it was.
yep,
But I think what most people need to keep in mind is that there are people having tougher times anywhere
yeah,
else in the planet.
true, true.
So whatever happens to us, we always have to be grateful for what we have.
Yes, very much.
I mean, even to this day, I'm grateful I have a bed to go to sleep.
Yep,
Every night I say thank you. I
yep,
have a roof. So
yep,
these are little things that people have to be grateful for in order to
yeah.
move on to bigger things.
It,
Um,
yep,
I would say to people, go for your dreams. I work hard also.
yep,
I think most people, I mean, I see a lot of delusional people that come on the online space
yeah.
and
Me
they get
too.
seduced by the people in the industry that talk about become a millionaire in 90 days.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like, mate, it's not going to be like that. You can have
Well, not even close.
not even close. I mean, dream big,
Yeah, I agree.
but just realize that you're going to have to go through ups and downs. And
Oh yes.
there is no shortcuts. Later or sooner, you're going to have tough times in your life, no matter how good
Yep,
it goes. I mean, I had
yep,
times
yep.
in Christmas where I'm not going to say the figure, I was earning very, very good income on Christmas because obviously people buy more on e-commerce.
Sure. Right. Right. Yeah.
And then most people that know it would think, oh, it's okay. Well, I wasn't okay. I, the month I earned the most, I was the most miserable
Okay, that's interesting. So
because
why is that?
of the stress,
Ah, true.
people opening cases that were not real. Because
Hmm.
when people know the system and how to take advantage of it,
Yeah,
they
work
can
it. Yeah,
destroy businesses actually.
they can.
So money is not everything. And as Zig Ziglar said, it's not
Hmm.
important, it is up there with oxygen. But I would say, yeah, yeah, everyone should go after their dream, and that's why I love when I met you here on Facebook, actually, because I saw you as a positive person. I love the name
Thank
of
you.
your podcast. I love that. I mean, we should all
Thank
be
you.
positive. We should all be
Yes.
happy.
Yes.
Realize that tough times are going to happen,
They will.
but we
Oh,
got to
yes,
be
they will.
strong and we have to be willing to work hard. There is no
Yep.
substitution for work hard, for working hard. And I was doing 16, 17, 18 hours days. I was falling on the computer. I was getting up. And if I have to say what has that maybe caused my divorce, it caused me to lose time with my kids.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, if you want to move forward, if you want to create a good lifestyle for your kids, what else are you supposed to do? I'm sure there are better
Exactly.
ways,
Yeah.
but
No, and you do. And tough times or working that much, that's what that's how you grow. So you can get to the next level of your business or whatever you're going after.
exactly.
Easy times don't get easy times may be nice, but they don't get you really anywhere. It's the
Yep,
tough times where you have to really dig down deep and just really, how am I going to do this? Like you did. I'm so
yep.
inspired by what you did there.
Thank you.
That is what gets you. Well, I had a gentleman the other day that tough times. He said, and then when you get leveling up, to the next level, and like he
That's it.
said, new level, new devil. You're going to have. It's never going to be. You're always going to have trials and tribulations because that's where you grow.
Yep.
And that is. And I think too many people. I think the majority of people think when they see entrepreneurial people or what we're kind of in our space that we're doing, they think it's easy, and there's nothing worthwhile that's easy.
No, definitely
It's
not.
just it isn't. So, and I think what you shared was awesome because that just shows it going in because I think those like $16 million next week. I think it does a disservice because the
It
people
is.
fall for it because they don't have any parameters to know that that's not really going to happen. So
Hmm.
then they do it and then they get burned so many times. It's like, well, this wasn't for me anyway, or they don't have the wherewithal to come back from that. And all those people don't catch their dreams and all the good that they could have potentially done in the world. So I think
Exactly.
I think that is so. When I see that, it's just like, oh, please don't fall for that. But we all have to go through it, I guess, because we all, especially when we're newbies and stuff like that. But
People have
That
to
is,
experience it themselves.
they do.
Sometimes
Yeah,
that's the only way some people learn. Actually, we
it
we, we
is.
tend to say that we should learn from people experiences, but in
Yep,
my experience, people don't learn from people experiences.
they don't. They
Not
don't.
everybody.
It's like, oh, that won't happen to me. That was them, and that, surely, and it's like, I know better. It's like, yeah, we'll see how that
Wait.
works out for you.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
mean, growth. I think growth is found in misery.
it is.
Now
I
it sounds
agree.
grim, negative, but sometimes if you can overcome misery, if you can overcome frustration, close to madness, then
Yep,
you grow.
you
If
do. Oh,
life was
yes.
easier, if life was easy all the time, what kind of man do you become? What kind of
Weak.
how do you grow if
You
everything is
don't.
easy?
Nope, you
You
don't at
know,
all. Nope.
I think there is a saying about the strongest trees grows in in harsh environments.
Yes, right. Yes, I
And
know the thing you're thinking about too.
yeah,
It is because of all they have to overcome to be the tree they are,
I mean
and not be
yourself.
overcome. Yeah.
I
So
mean yourself. You have become a better person. You became more yourself, more conscious for the things that happen in your life that made
yes,
you
yeah.
see things in a different
Oh
way.
yes, my
And
all my wife's cancers and everything else we've gone through to get to the day on that. Definitely not the person that was 10 years ago,
yeah,
and if you go back even further than that, it's just I wouldn't recognize. Well, the stuff that would bother me then wouldn't bother me now because I've learned how to, that's nothing.
a blessing in disguise.
It is a blessing, and both my wife Cheryl and we've said that cancer. I mean, when you beat it, gives clarity. Exactly what is important and what's not important,
That's true.
and it definitely gave us a lot of clarity. And plus, it got us. I probably wouldn't be talking to you today if it hadn't been that, because I don't know if I'd have ever gone that path to doing with the Dreamcatcher and everything we're doing in the podcast. And so it's been a blessing. And people say cancer's a blessing. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be, but it does have potential to be a blessing.
Yeah, I truly
And
believe that for every negativity, I said that before, for every negativity, there is a seed of equal or great opportunity. I know it
I like
sounds a
that.
bit of cliche, but really is.
There is.
And anybody has gone through tough times, when they look back, obviously it's not nice at the time, at the present time,
Yep. Right.
but
Exactly. Yes.
always, there is always good. If you know where to look, if you look for it, there is
Yep.
always something good coming out of it.
There is.
And we
Or
just need to be conscious that whatever we're going through now, there will be a better version of ourselves in the
yes.
future.
Yes, yes, and be grateful, like you were saying earlier. And be grateful that you have a roof over your head, or a bed, or even the smallest things that we take for granted. You become very grateful because you know they can all be taken away.
Exactly.
And it's just like, wow, you appreciate all that stuff so much more, and
Our
or your
freedoms,
health.
our
What's
freedoms, I'm not
that?
gonna get there, but our
Yeah,
freedoms were taken
yeah.
away.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many things that we take for granted that we don't think about until they are, potentially trying to take them away. And there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of positivity, a seed of positivity in negativity, and it's just anybody that's starting on the journey of trying to catch their dreams or whatever it is that they are going after. There's going to be that, and
Yeah,
and you will look back and you'll be grateful that you went. I mean, I don't know if at the time I was not grateful for what my wife was going through,
of
but we're
course.
grateful for now, for everything and everybody, our story, our backstory, all the people we can help, with what I went through and that my wife Cheryl went through with cancer, how many people she can share that story with that are going through it.
It's very
And
inspirational.
yeah, so it is. So yeah, it's good. It just, but I think that today's world makes you think that you can become wealthy or successful very very quickly, and there
Yes.
are no shortcuts, like you said earlier.
Now,
So you have to do the reps, and you just have to do everything that's gonna. It's like I said earlier when we were talking. You have to become the person that's successful to become successful. So
exactly. And it's not so
so
much about being successful or earning the money. It's about the person you become
yes, it
in
is
in that
100%.
journey.
Yes.
The person
Yes.
you become is far more important than the money or whatever you have that is
Yep.
kind of tangible.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that's the beauty about life, that we keep on learning,
yep.
Unfortunately, we have to learn from the negative. But
We do.
again,
Yeah.
people who think that everything's gonna be easy, dandy all the time, and they're gonna avoid the negative. I
Yeah.
got news for you,
Not
buddy. It's
possible.
not gonna be like that. You're gonna
Nope. It will
you.
not.
I don't know. The universe have ways to show us things, to show us who we are, and not all the time comes in nice ways.
No, and sometimes it's very interesting how it does that. Yes, and a lot of
It's
times it isn't,
interesting
but it
ways.
is like it's like okay, that I get the message here. Yeah.
I get the
So,
message now. As I
yeah.
said before, the same wall that keeps disappointment away,
Yeah.
trying to avoid negative, trying to avoid pain, is what
Yep.
keeps people away from their dreams. It's the
It
same wall.
does. It
You
really,
just have
really
to decide
does.
you want to jump over or you want to stay on the side of the wall. And maybe when
Yep.
you are in your deathbed,
Yep. Wish you had.
regret what you didn't do.
Yep.
So
And I think that's the majority of the people who, at least
sadly
in the
enough,
United
yeah,
States, I've seen that has been the number one thing on their deathbed that they regret. That they didn't go for it and didn't do, and that's a shame when it gets to that point. And I think too many people do let you know they want the best. They want both. They want to have both sides, play both sides of it. It's like
yeah.
you have to become committed. You have to do the discipline. You have to go for it. Basically,
As you
it's
say, you
like
have to do the reps.
yeah, and you have and a lot of the reps have to become non-negotiable.
Yep.
Because there's going to be times you're not going to want to do that. And I get people asking me that's like you just do it. You don't even think about it. It's just like this is what it's got to be. If I want to
Yeah.
get to the whatever I'm going for. And
Yeah, you
but
got to get yourself out of the equation. I mean, where if you
you
feel
do.
like doing it or not, it's
Yep.
irrelevant.
It is irrelevant.
I mean, yesterday I was doing my push-ups. I didn't even
Uh-huh.
feel like actually doing push-ups. But my mentality is, it's irrelevant. My
Yep.
body doesn't
Yep.
care if I feel like it or not.
Exactly. Yes. I know what you mean.
So
Yes.
it's irrelevant. Why would I focus if I want to do it or not? I just do it. I mean,
Yep. Do
I'm
it
not,
and get it
I'm
done.
still working on my disciplines. It's not something that
Me
comes
too.
easy.
Oh no.
But
And
you
there's
just
definitely
got
days.
to, you just got to say to yourself, look, I wake up in the morning and my mood is not going to determine what I do during the day. If I got
Amen.
things to
Yes.
do in my to-do list, they're going to get done.
Yes.
And I'm not going to allow my mood, I'm not going to allow other people to get in the way.
Right.
And it's
Right.
easier said than done. But
It
that,
is. Oh yes, very much.
I
Especially
think
certain
that's
days.
the mindset we should all have. Because it's very easy to say, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah.
here it's in Spain, that's tomorrow. It's like mañana. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
mañana.
Mm-hmm.
No. Mañana doesn't exist.
Nope, it doesn't. Never
It's only
never
today.
occurs.
So
Yep.
you just better do your reps today. Take one day at a
E-
time. Do your reps
Yep.
today. So at least
Yep.
you don't have any regrets. You've done what you need to do.
Yes. You
And then
do.
tomorrow is just another day.
It
Another
is.
day.
And that's what I tell people. You keep having to make that decision over and over and over again. It's just
Exactly.
not I'm gonna make this decision like gonna be whatever. It's like, oh, you're gonna make that decision many, many times. And there's gonna be times on certain days it's gonna be really tough. So but you will look back and you'd be so happy that you did make those decisions.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So it's like what they say about when you don't feel like doing exercise. But if you ask any person that didn't feel like doing exercise, but they do,
yep.
after they do exercise and you ask them, do you regret going against how you felt? No. Everyone
Yeah,
feels
that's
great
right.
after doing
Yep.
exercise. Um,
Yep.
they think, oh, luckily I took the decision to pass through how I felt
Right.
in order to get to a point where I'm going to feel really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and at least especially in the United States, I don't know if it's that way in Spain, where people, they too much of the feeling thing. It's just like, well, I really, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
we
just
live in
something.
a
It's
feeling
like
society, and that's what is making people fail on things.
it is very, very
And
much.
I don't feel like it. I mean, we've talked off camera of this, but we live in a society where everything is feeling. If you don't
It
feel like
is.
doing this,
Mm-hmm.
if you feel like doing, feel. There is a point in life where you have to stop feeling and have to stop perform. You have to start performing.
You do. You just have to start doing.
You
Yeah, you
don't
just have
you
to.
don't feel like doing it. You have to do it. Oh, you don't
Yeah.
feel like going to school today. Well, you just have to go to school if you want to learn, or if you
Yep.
learning languages. You just have to discipline yourself to.
Yep.
But
And
we
it's
live
all
in a
about discipline
society
and
where
mindset.
we seem to be encouraging people to get in touch with their feelings, with their
We
inner
are very
feelings, how you
much.
feel, and to
Yeah.
chase. I mean, don't get me wrong, we should strive for happiness,
I
but
agree.
I think people strive for happiness the wrong way. The majority, they're looking for happiness on watching Netflix, eating
Yeah.
Cheetos,
External sources. Yeah.
external sources. They
Yep.
don't understand that, hey, how about if happiness could be found in discipline, in working
Yep.
hard, in doing the
Yep.
best you can, in learning, growing every single day?
There's so
That's
much
where
to
the
that.
real
Yeah.
happiness is, in the
It
growth.
is. Yes. It really
Sitting in
is.
your couch watching TV and watching soccer on the NFL
Yeah. Yeah.
for,
There you
for
go.
days.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, I used to be a big soccer. I am a big soccer fan, even though I'm not watching it now because I'm focused on my things. But you can't stay all day doing that.
No, you can't. No, everything in moderation. I mean, you just need to do that. And I think that is, at least in the United States, we have so much anxiety.
Yeah,
That's one thing. Here, they say that the 20-year-old generation is lazy. They're not lazy. They have a lot of anxiety. But I find that they kind of do things a little bit differently. But I think a lot of them maybe haven't been taught what they need to do.
exactly.
They're looking for the external source to
Yeah,
be validized. That's not the word I'm looking for. But to get their valid, I can't say that word.
they
The
try to validate
they're,
themselves through external
yes,
sources.
that's the
That's
word.
what you mean?
Yes, thank you. Yes, and it's just like, and that doesn't work, for long term.
No.
And I see it. I know a lot of 20-year-olds that have anxiety, and I feel for it that you need to get it right here. It's just and doing what we talked about. Doing what you need to do. And I don't. One thing, at least in the United States, we let the kids get away with too much. One thing, when I was growing up, I mean, I had certain things I was expected to do.
Expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, and my parents. In fact, I think I started having to make my bed like when I was 3 or 4, as soon as I could.
Yep.
And I cleaned my room, and I had to do my own laundry, and all this stuff. I had the expectations. I knew the expectations. Now I'm not for sure, especially with as many one-parent families there are. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sure that there still are. Maybe don't have with the 2-unit family or the 2-parent family as much. I think there's something to that at least, and I think the kids don't get so many things that they're expected to do because, especially in a one-parent family, I think there's they're working more jobs and stuff like that, so
Yes.
maybe they're not getting that. So I don't know. I feel for today's kids, and that's another one where I think that's like I was telling you off camera that where they're these 2 schools have asked me to speak.
Hmm.
Because I had one. He's like, "Wow, I wish I had you." Because he's out of school now, and he says, "I wish I'd had somebody like you talk to me when I was in school,
Yes.
and if I can help them anyway, direction stuff like that." So, but yeah, going back, you have to do the reps, you have to do all that.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
coming back to that is I think when you talk about these 20-year-old kids, they lack direction because, and it's not their fault actually.
mm-mm.
Society, since they were little, over the last 20 years perhaps,
Yep,
society has become very soft
it
in
has.
certain aspects,
Yep,
where it's all about expectations. As you said, when you were 3 or 4 years old, you were expected to do your bed. You were
yeah, it
expected to do
was.
your laundry.
Yep,
Nowadays, expectations are not there.
none.
And this is
No, there
something that
aren't.
society has made kids believe. And I think it's something it's got to do as well is with technology. Technology has made it so easy to be
It has.
relaxed, to
It
be
has. Yeah, really.
lazy. I mean, back in
Yep.
our days, you might
Yeah.
remember when you need to do something for school. We didn't have internet. We have to go to the library. We have to do our homework. We have to
Exactly.
take the typewriter, type
Yep.
it.
Yep.
We have
Yep.
so something that kids can find now in 2 seconds. We
Yeah.
had to spend 2 hours
Yeah. We had really had
going.
to research it.
We
Yeah,
had
and
to do
fun.
research. We have to do that,
Yep.
which means we were spending more time working on our mind, more time
Yep.
being disciplined, more time
Yep.
with other type of expectations. But
Yes.
nowadays, people are sitting in front of the microwave
Yep.
shouting, "Hurry up!"
Yeah. Exactly. It's very
And
true. Yes,
it is absolutely crazy.
it
And
is.
uh, something as well is that I don't want to go into that maybe forbidden place to talk about, but men, especially nowadays, they are told to get in touch with their feelings.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I mean, I saw a meme where you can see, at least here in Spain, kids in the 2020 with little scooters. You see the
Hmm.
men in the US in the 70s with the Harley Davidson. You can
Yeah.
see,
I've seen that one. Yes.
when
Yep.
men were masculine,
They were.
now men are taught not to be masculine because
No,
it
they
seems
aren't.
that they're going to be somehow arrogant or they're going to hurt somebody else's feeling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it seems like society don't want men to be men and don't want
Seems that
women to
very
be
much.
women. So they are
Yeah.
trying the powers to be men to be feminine and women to be more masculine.
Yeah.
And that is
More.
confusing society. That's confusing kids.
It is. It
I mean,
very
in the
much is.
US, you see what all these people are doing, all these shootings in the schools.
Yep.
These people, if they were thinking right, if they had the proper expectations in life,
Right.
they wouldn't be doing this. I mean,
They
I
wouldn't.
don't know the statistics, but I don't think the school shootings are happening nowadays in the US were happening 30 years ago.
They. When I was in school, I never thought about anything like that. Never,
That's it.
ever thought about that. And now you don't even have to. I mean, in the United States, you don't even have to be in a school. You might be in the wrong store at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, something has in the last 20, 30 years has changed drastically to get us to that point. You know, and
We
for one thing, I think like what you talked, people are so confused about who they are.
yeah,
It's just because men to women and women to men and the kids. I would definitely agree that you don't have the traditional father, mother, and the way I was brought up. Basically, you just knew your role. This is the way
yeah.
kids are. I knew it was easy, if anything could be easy on that. But now it's just like, so this is my mom, but this is actually my dad. It's just it's,
Yes.
it's like, and then where the guys dress up. And I mean, I guess if they want to do that, where they have the man buns and they have the more, and they even wearing fingernail polish now, which why, or makeup. It's like, why would you want to wear makeup? I'm
Why
just
would you
glad I
want to
don't
do
have
that?
to wear makeup. So it
Yeah, I
just
mean,
it confuses the whole thing.
it does confuse people. I mean, again, call me conservative in that respect, but I believe parents are two different roles.
Yep,
Dads can do things that moms can do, and moms can do
exactly.
things that dads can do.
Right, right.
We have this woke agenda that talks about we're
Yeah,
all the same. No, that's nonsense. We're all not the
it is
same.
nonsense.
We're all different. Men and women are
Yep,
different,
yep.
and we're
Oh yes,
complementary. We complement
yep.
each other, and that's
Exactly.
what
I
make it
100%
work.
agree. Yep,
You
yep.
see, for example, if you had a son, would you prefer to take him to a nursery? Is that called nursery in the US?
It is. Yep.
Yeah. You take imagine you have two nurseries. One is run only by men.
Hmm.
The second nursery is run only by women. Where would you take your son or your daughter? Which nursery would you prefer to choose? Where the women are. Because
Yep.
naturally they are better suited to look after kids. I'm sorry if
It,
that sounds old fashioned, but that's what it is.
it
Now on the other
is.
hand, if you're in a building on fire and you are gonna die, would you prefer
Yep.
to get a man coming through the door to rescue you or a woman?
Yeah, it's going to be the man.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
just
you want a guy 120 kilos that can grab you
yep.
and take you out of the trouble. I
Exactly.
know they're
Yes.
gonna call me
Yep.
misogynist, but when the shit hits the fan, as they say,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
everybody becomes natural at the role.
That is true. I never thought about it, but it does very much. That gets that way quickly. So, no, I don't know. It's a messed up world. It's just interesting that,
We need
like
to
I said
have
earlier.
clarity in life. People need to
Yeah.
have clarity and
Yep.
expectations.
Yep. Yep. They
Um,
do, and we have less of it probably every day. So,
yeah. I don't know if it's in
and
the US the same, but in Europe, for example, Spain, the expectations on kids at schools are far lower than 40 years ago. I
really,
don't know if
okay,
in the
that's
US it's the
interesting.
same. They expect less of kids. They, when they do tests and when they do things, it's like they, I don't know how to put it. Basically, the expectation on kids' results is not the same what it used to be. Now, I'm not big on school.
Hmm.
I personally, if I had to choose, I wouldn't take my kids to school in the first place.
No, neither. Nope.
Um,
I would do
but
homeschooling.
for in Spain, it's actually a very difficult thing to do. Homeschooling is kind
Really?
of gray area, kind of illegal, which is nonsense. I mean, why would
Wow,
you
I'm surprised.
make illegal
Okay.
something? They are my kids. I will do what I want with my kids. You have
Right.
nothing to say. But you can get in a lot of trouble because when we had, I'm not gonna get into there, but when we had this famous so-called illness for 3 years,
Hmm. Hmm.
kids were um, they had the kids had to go with a face mask to school. So I didn't want that, and I spoke
Hmm.
to the director, and they were not having any of that. I didn't want them to go to school,
Right.
so for me, I had to let them go because mom didn't want them to
Oh,
not
okay.
to go.
Okay.
So I had to
Right.
compromise my own beliefs
Hmm.
about that nonsense of wearing a mask
Yep. Yep.
in the first place. And yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure how I
and
got here, but yeah,
well,
that's
and I know in the United States they showed the kids going to school, and most of the time the kids had them off, or down here anyway, pretty quickly after they got to school. So
well,
it's
here
like
you couldn't do it.
yeah,
Their
it's just
teachers
like
were
kids
on their
don't learn
cases.
with that. So
Oh,
what's that?
no, in Spain, the teachers were on the kids' cases. I mean, they were on their case with, oh no, you need to put your mask up and all that nonsense.
Mm, that's too
I was
bad.
like, I tried to talk to the directors, give them some facts
Yep.
about what was going
Yep.
on back then. They didn't want to hear any of it because they were following orders from the
Yep.
government that you have to do this and you have to do
Do
that.
all it. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
they were
So
against the constitution, by the way. They were obeying
yeah.
orders that were
Yeah.
pretty much against the constitution.
That's too bad on a lot of levels. This whole thing has been too bad.
Yeah,
So
it's
okay.
so.
So what are you doing today? I mean, what for businesses? I mean, network marketing? I think or
Yes, I
doing.
mean network marketing. Um, when I started network marketing was almost 25 years ago when I went
Oh
to the
wow.
UK.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
when I started in 1 year after, 1999. I started with a very
Okay.
good company. I struggled like most people for a few years, especially again because I didn't speak the language.
Oh yeah,
So,
that would make it tough.
but it's funny because we're talking about being lazy. At the time, I was working in a factory, car
Okay.
factory.
Uh
I
huh.
was working every single day. My choice. Why?
Okay.
I was earning more money basically. I was working like 12 hours a day minimum.
Okay. Oh wow.
I had 20-hour days.
Oh wow. Really long days.
Yeah, because they used to pay extra. And when I used to compare back in the day how much I was earning in the UK versus how much I could have earned in Spain, I was like earning 3 times the monthly salary that I could earn in Spain.
Wow.
So obviously I was going crazy. It's like I'm gonna work
Yeah.
all the hours that God sends.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And at the same time, it was easier. It was much easier than actually in Spain. In Spain, I used to be a waiter,
Okay.
and I actually worked in 11 places in 12 months.
Oh my word.
I was getting from
Wow.
one place to another because it was a horrible environment to work in. People were not respecting each other in the work environment. But then I went to England,
Mm-hmm.
and I was surprised how well they were treating people. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, this is incredible. They're treating me super well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I
Right.
was a hardworking individual as well.
Right.
Um, so obviously they like me for that.
Right.
So it was a win-win situation. They treat me very well all the time. Obviously, there's always occasions that not
Sure.
everybody.
Oh yeah. There's always going to be. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a typical. I say, oh, where are you from? And but yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
that's okay. It's just a minority.
Right.
Um. So yeah, I was coming back to that. I was doing so many hours, and a friend of mine, just as they do in network marketing, told me discover a fantastic company. If I wanted
Right.
to have a
Yes.
look, I said, okay,
Yep.
come over to my house, explain me. So he came with a friend of his. Nowadays, one of my best friends,
Awesome.
and I didn't know him, so show me what he was doing, and yeah, sign up. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I was working
Right.
full time every single day, and I found the time to do a side hustle,
Cool.
let's call it,
Okay.
on the
Right.
side. And I was there for 7 years. Then I quit because I saw that business was going online
Yeah.
and I couldn't see doing what I was doing offline. I was working very hard. Everything was
Hmm.
work for me. So I kind of stopped that. Um, I had a job. I changed my jobs. I worked for a
Hmm.
big travel company. And then until 2009, I discovered online marketing. I received a letter at home
Okay.
showing me how you could earn money at home, and earn money from the internet. So I was, oh, wow, I'm going to check this. I was
Right.
blown away.
Uh-huh.
I found so many ways to make money online and I tried so many
Right.
things.
Right.
But just as like many people, I didn't make any money for a decade. Well, I made
Yeah.
a little
That is
money
like most
here
people.
and then,
Yep.
maybe not a decade, but for a good few years. And like many people, I went through the shiny object.
Oh
Uh,
yes, I know that well.
you know that well.
Yeah, oh
Where you
yes.
buy products, you buy things,
Hmm.
and they tell you
Yep.
it's gonna work, and then
Oh
they
yes.
told me this was gonna work. I'm done exactly the
Oh
same.
yeah, exactly.
I made
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, you've done that, yeah.
Oh, I have done it. As my wife. Yes, I have.
So
Yep.
we've been that path. But then, after a few years, obviously I got involved with e-commerce, and that took the majority of my time, and that is what really was allowing me to put food on the table, put my kids in a, which I kind of a regret today, but put them through a private school. I mean, I'm talking about school that costs $2,000 a month.
Oh wow.
That's how expensive it was.
That is
I think
expensive.
looking
Wow.
back, I think that was a mistake. But we wanted them to carry on because they were born in the UK, my kids.
Yeah, I can
They
see
speak
what you're
English as
thinking.
well,
Okay.
and French. I mean, they
Okay.
don't speak it really, they understand it, but they're very lazy.
Okay. Okay.
So we wanted them to follow the English kind of curriculum.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, that's what I did most of the time. But then before quitting my um, e-commerce business, I was doing some promotions online, did affiliate marketing.
Okay.
I tried a couple of network marketing companies that didn't actually resonate with me too much. I mean,
Okay.
I wasn't committed because I didn't feel 100% with it. I
Okay.
love the network marketing industry, but there are many things that I don't like. I never like them. Things that I despise. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna promote or anything. But yeah, eventually I came across a company that I feel
That
it
you.
resonates 100% with me.
Okay. Perfect.
That's where I'm at nowadays. That's what I'm doing
Okay. Okay.
full
That is so
time, as
cool.
as they call it.
Awesome. Okay. So this is a Dreamcatcher podcast. I always ask, what was your dream when you were a child?
Become an NBA star.
Okay. I love it.
That's it. I wanted to
Okay.
be an NBA star. I thought was gonna be it. I mean, that's the beauty about kids. Kids know
Yeah.
they don't believe they don't they know they're gonna accomplish it.
They
And I was
do.
actually, I was actually pretty good at basketball.
Okay.
Um, I had an injury in my back, so that kind
Oh.
of stopped me
Yeah.
going further. But I
Right.
was doing pretty well, and I think I could have. I don't know if I would have. I don't think I would have ended up in the NBA, but at least I could have played in good teams here in Spain. I
That is
was
such a
good enough
cool dream.
for that.
I love that.
But that was my dream, being like Michael Jordan.
I love it. That is so cool. So
What was yours,
so
by the
I
way?
actually mine wants to be a weatherman of
Oh
all
wow,
things. Yeah, and it's just because Nebraska, as we were talking earlier before
yeah,
we got with all the weather, and I thought I want to be the weatherman because I deal with all that, and I still love weather. But
yeah.
that was what I was gonna be. In fact, I had a gal the other day that I grew up with, and she's like, "I thought you were gonna be a weatherman. What happened there?" It's like, kind of life happened. A lot of different things just came,
Life
and
happens and we grow. Yeah.
it very much does. So Alvaro, so is there anything else that you would like to have the audience know about what you're doing?
No, not really. I mean, I would say I've discovered you very soon. I will tell your audience to keep on listening to your podcast. I think they're
Well,
awesome.
thank you.
I had the
Thank you.
chance to listen. I didn't finish it. I don't remember her name. A lady that you had a podcast with. I was listening to it the other day. I think you are
Okay.
doing an amazing job, and you should bring people to share their
Well,
experience because we're all
thank you.
different. We all have value to share.
Yep, we do.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. I really do. And that's why,
Well, thank you.
you invited me, and I was more than happy to come on board. I was looking forward to do it.
Well,
But
thank you
yeah,
for
something
being
I would
my
say to the
guest.
audience is go after your dreams, whatever that is.
Awesome.
You know, even if it becomes a fireman, or if you want to, whatever it is,
Exactly.
whatever
Yep.
your passion is,
Yep.
go for it. Don't have a plan
Exactly.
B
Yep.
because he's gonna distract you from plan A. Just go for
It
it.
will.
What's the
Yep.
worst? Yeah, what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean,
Yeah. The worst thing is you fail, but then everybody's so against failing. It's like
fail and then get a
you
job and start
fail
again.
fail forward, and you know what didn't work that time, so you just
Exactly.
start again. And but yeah, society has puts it, especially you can't fail, and it's like yes you can. So
You
so
can
yep, you
fail,
just got to remember
but
that.
never quit.
Never ever quit. There is a secret. You never quit. You never fail unless you do quit.
Exactly.
So
That's the only way
yeah.
to fail is actually quitting.
Yep, it is. So, but well, so maybe have you down the line have you do a follow up podcast or something like that? Would
Sorry,
you be
say again?
interested? Maybe do a follow up podcast sometime down the line.
Hey, I would
Would you
love
be
to.
interested?
Definitely.
Okay,
Anytime.
okay.
Anytime.
I would look forward to that. I mean, I've enjoyed so much talking with you today, and thank you for coming on.
Likewise.
And on that, I will let you go and have a good rest of your day. You're in the evening now, so I should say have a good evening.
Thank you
And
so
until
much.
next, and we'll talk to you later. Then thanks for
Th-
being the guest.
Thank you for having me, Mark. Appreciate it.
Mhm. Yep. See you later.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.